We have some breaking news out of OpenAI, of course, our favorite AI company, or at least, whether you love them or hate them, they're one of the number one AI companies, so we got to cover them. But OpenAI has just launched some new tools to help businesses build AI agents. There is some fascinating things going on here, and especially when we talk about the context of creating, like generating money with AI tools or using it in your business to scale it, or using it in your career to scale it. So kind of everything we cover in AI Hustle, how to actually make money from AI. I think agents are one of the biggest unlocks we're going to be seeing here. So we're going to be digging into what they're doing and why we think this is actually a huge deal. Before we get into that, Jamie, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about the AI Hustle School community?
Absolutely. So if you have not heard yet, we have an amazing community of over 330 members who all are trying to grow their businesses and learn how to make money with AI. So we have industry experts, and we talk about ourselves and how we are actually making money with AI. We break down very specific and even private details of how we do that. So we have lots of different hustles we talk about. I have an Amazon influencer hustle that I made over $25,000 with last year, currently trying to scale it with AI. We also talk about becoming an AI consultant and how that can change your life financially and also the businesses you're helping. Plus tons of other content. We have dozens and dozens of bonus episodes over there. So if that interests you, check it out. It's only $19 a month. The price will go up eventually, but you can lock that in today. So go check that out. But let's talk about AI agents. That's kind of like the main, I think that the 2025 buzzword when it comes to AI is the agents, and it's going to change absolutely everything. OpenAI recently released their operator that you had to have the premium tier to access it. Both Jaeden and I paid for the premium tier to do that. And at least for me, it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. It kind of failed. Granted, I gave it kind of a silly request. I was trying to figure like the easiest hustle. What can operator do for me? I had it try to take surveys for me, like, the surveys, online surveys where you can earn money. And it did it, but it had to continually ask me questions. It wouldn't answer some of the questions. So it wasn't very hands-off. It was actually more work than if I would have just taken the surveys myself. All that to say is this whole agent thing, it really depends on the task. It's not going to be good at everything, especially right off the bat, operator that is. So the fact that they're releasing a tool where people can build their own agents, I think is a really huge thing because, like I said, there's so many different tasks and use cases for an AI agent that it's impossible for it to be good at just one thing. So having companies be able to customize their own is really huge. So Jaeden, what have you heard about this?
Yeah, I think this is really impressive. The first thing I'll say is that it's not the first, because like we mentioned, we've tried like kind of like the operators, which the ChatGPT operator, which wasn't perfect. What's going on with this new thing? It's called responsive API. And essentially it's letting businesses develop AI agents. They can do web searches, they can scan through companies' files, and they can navigate around websites, which I think is interesting. So this is a lot like OpenAI's operator that they have, which we both tested out. And essentially this is going to replace OpenAI's assistant API. So they're going to be getting rid of that in the first half of next year. Okay, so why is this important? Essentially, companies are going to be able to create a lot of these agents. Now, there's going to be some competition, and there's also going to be some difficulty. We've seen with even just like Operator, that's essentially OpenAI trying to do this on their own, it's not perfect. And so it's really hard, and we feel like there's a little bit of progress that has to be made for this to work well. But the caveat, I think, is that if you have an actual API into OpenAI and you have a specific use case of what you want your agent to do, and you're the one that comes up with a very elaborate prompt, I think you can build powerful agents that you could resell to people, that companies will resell to people, essentially using the same software and system that ChatGPT OpenAI used for Operator. But Operator was so broad, and I think it's not perfect. And so you really have to like nail down the prompt and how to use it. And until they kind of get past the prompt being so important, it's not going to be ready for mass market. So I think giving the ability for businesses that can go hyper specific on things, develop really elaborate and specific prompts, you're going to be able to get good results from the AI that we have today before we have some big progress. So I think that's really exciting. The one other thing that I want to bring up is the fact that this isn't the first of these kind of like AI agent tools. There's another one that came out recently called Manus AI. It's out of China. And it had a lot of hype around it until people started to realize that essentially they didn't actually work that good. So when that happened, TechCrunch wrote an article called Manus probably isn't China's second DeepSeek moment. Obviously, DeepSeek was like a really good AI model that shocked everyone by how good it was in compared to ChatGPT's OpenAI's ChatGPT. So I think all this to say, there are going to be other players, but it doesn't feel like anyone that's come out with this tool yet is hitting a home run. And the reason I think this is a big deal is because by giving businesses the ability through an API to build their own agents, businesses can pull it off if they're doing something hyper-specific. So I'm kind of excited about the prospect of where it goes once you give this tool into the hands of actual businesses to use. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. And so, my thought is, when I hear all this information, I go, I'm not a developer. This doesn't really matter to me. But as we talked about this week in the school community, we talk about the whole concept of becoming an AI consultant. If you can stay up to date on the news and some of these agents that come out for specific industries, you can really attack those businesses and help them scale their own business with AI. So if you are, a consultant for, let's say, it's tax season, you're a CPA, AI consultant helping them get leads and things for their business, but you find out about a new agent that's really good at, finding errors in tax documents or finding missing information. This is just an example, but for my taxes, I recently found out this sounds ridiculous because I should have caught it earlier, but my address is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I don't actually live in the city of Grand Rapids. I live in the township of Grand Rapids. So I'm really not required to pay city taxes at all.
Wow.
But my CPA didn't catch that because she just sees my address, Grand Rapids. My CPA is in northern Michigan, so she didn't know that there's a difference between Grand Rapids City and Grand Rapids Township. So all that to say, if you had an AI agent that was really good at finding errors for CPAs, you could help them scale their business or at least become more efficient at their business with an AI agent, a custom AI agent.
That's really, really cool. I 100% agree. Making these things very specific for different areas is going to be really powerful. One thing that I do think is interesting is that this new API, it doesn't actually solve all the problems. So there's a bunch of different problems that we have. Jamie and I have covered them in past episodes when we talked about ChatGPT's operator. So while they're definitely more accurate than traditional AI models, the search tools, right? So that you give ChatGPT the ability to search on the internet, it's still not always perfect. There are still some hallucinations. So these are always just struggles that we've been fighting with AI. I think they're going to get better and better. And I think we've made a lot of progress on them. But all that to say, some people are going to be a little bit wary and a little bit dubious of using an AI agent over an actual person. However, real people can make mistakes too. So I guess if you had a percentage-wise, you could kind of measure which one was better. But in any case, recently they've been talking about how they hope that OpenAI can bridge the gap between AI agent demos and products this year, right? Because we've seen really impressive demos from ChatGPT operator, and then when you actually use it, it's not quite there. And, some people are saying that agents are the most impactful application of AI that will happen. Sam Altman has also been saying a bunch of different stuff. He said back in January that 2025 is the year of AI agents and that they'll enter the workforce. This is very interesting. So a lot is going on. We'll keep you up to date on everything happening with AI agents, the advancements. We're getting our hands on with these tools and testing them. When ChatGPT operator came out, and it cost $200. Jamie and I both paid $200 to try it out for different things, and we reported back on it. So we'll keep you guys up to date on everything happening with AI agents this year, as I believe that is one of the most impactful advancements we'll be seeing in AI. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. We hope that you really enjoyed it. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And if you haven't already, we would love it if you could leave us a review on the podcast. On Spotify, it's the About Us tab or the little About tab. You could click some stars. And on Apple, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a little note, we read every single one of them. We really appreciate them. So if this is something you got some value out of, we would love a review. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.